the second son gonna get instead of the first. Go ahead.
Verse 11, and Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man.
Don't worry, mama got that. She can handle it. Go ahead.
My father peradventure will feel me, and I shall seem to him as a deceiver, and I shall bring a curse upon me, and not a blessing.
Go ahead.
And his mother said unto him, upon me be thy curse, my son. Only obey my voice, and go fetch me them.
Because she had the clearance from God.
Right.
Like, don't worry about that. If something go wrong, I take all the blame.
Right.
Mama knew. Because God told her it was two nations in your womb. Mm-hmm. When the younger gonna serve Jacob gonna serve Esau for a minute. Or Esau served Jacob. Esau served Jacob, excuse me. Jump down to verse 18. Just trying to lay some foundation of our history in dealing with color of Israel. Now we got another nation we deal with, Jacob. He was red. Now we got to deal with, Esau, he was red. Go ahead.
Verse 18, and he came unto his father and said, my father. And he said, here am I. Who art thou, my son?
Go ahead.
And Jacob said unto his father, I am Esau, thy firstborn. I have done according as thou badest me. Arise, I pray thee, sit and eat of my venison, that thy soul may bless me.
Understand, boy, you can't be too righteous a lot of times. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Folks, man, he lying right now. God winked at that. He got to get his prophecy, what he said was going to happen with these two boys. Amen. Go ahead.
Verse 20, and Isaac said unto his son, how is it that thou hast found it so quickly, my son? And he said, because the Lord thy God brought it to me.
Yes, sir. His mama brought it to him.
Right.
Lord thy God brought it to me.
Yes, sir.
So you got to understand this, man. This is the history. Go ahead.
Verse 21, and Isaac said unto Jacob, come near, I pray thee, that I may feel thee, my son, whether thou be my very son Esau or not.
Well, nothing wrong with Jacob ears now. He said, come here, let me feel you, boy, because you signed your life. Nothing wrong with Isaac's ears. Right. He said, come, let me feel you, Esau. Go ahead.
22, and Jacob went nearer to Isaac his father, and he felt him and said, the voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau.
See, wasn't nothing wrong with his ears. Go ahead.
And he discerned him not, because his hands were hairy, as his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him.
Mama put them skins on his hands, because she knew her husband. Right. He gonna touch him. He can't hardly see. He gonna smell him, put the clothing on it. We can't read it all, but this is how it came down of our history, how it got started. Amen. Black history according to the Bible. Yes. Israelite history. Most people don't know who Esau and Jacob is. They don't. And they praising the one that is the synagogue of Satan, which is Esau, over there in the land. And they cursing Jacob, which are the Israelites, the black people, the so-called African Americans. Go ahead.
Verse 24, and he said, art thou my very son Esau? And he said, I am.
Go ahead.
And he said, bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat. And he brought him wine, and he drank.
So he blessed him. Once the father blessed the son, he can't take it back. Go ahead.
And his father Isaac said unto him, come near now and kiss me, my son.
Yes, sir.
And he came near and kissed him. And he smelled the smell of his raiment and blessed him and said, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which the Lord hath blessed.
See, Rebecca took care of all that. She did. Put his clothes on, smell him. Because she know her husband couldn't see that well. Go ahead.
Verse 28, therefore God gave thee of the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine.
That's what came along with the birthright. That's what Esau despised. He didn't see the future in this. Go ahead.
Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee.
That's a powerful blessing right there. This is what we was now in the land. This is what we were before 70 AD, when Titus came down and got the Israelites. Go ahead.
Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee.
Boy, I want to know how that feel right there, boy. When you walk around and everybody blessing you. Man, that's a feeling. That's what you call white privilege in reverse. That's like privilege right there. Go ahead.
Verse 30. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting.
He's trying to be slick. Come in and for his hunting. What verse you at?
31.
Go ahead.
And he also had made savory meat, and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, Let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me.
Man, Isaac said, man, what you talking about? You already been in here. Mama took care of it. I bet Mama sitting back there in the room just like, okay. She ain't saying nothing, because she did her job.
Right.
Go ahead.
32. And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau.
Go ahead.
And Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, Who? Where is he that hath taken venison and hath brought it to me? And I have eaten all, and I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yeah, and he shall be blessed.
I said, well, they did that 3-card Marley on me. I ain't know who that I blessed. Who? I thought it was you, Esau. No. This ain't gonna run how God told Rebecca to do with these boys, these two nations. The book got to run out the way the book runs out. It got to play out. These are the players of the book. Go ahead.
34. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, O my father.
He said, boy, he cried a bitter cry. Cause he thought he got Jacob. He thought, well, I eat this soup. Yeah, the father ain't gonna believe right now. You know, I go ahead and he gonna bless me anyway. But God had a plan for him. He knew how this man was. Very cunning. Go ahead.
35. And he said, Thy brother came with subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing.
Yes, sir.
And he said, Is not he rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing.
He lied.
Yep.
Lying. He didn't take away nothing. You sold it for some soup. Go ahead.
And he said, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me?
Understand, Jacob got a blessing for him. He realized, look, he gonna be blessed. Esau. And he still rolling his blessing. Go ahead. 37. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. And with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? Go ahead.
And Isaac said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
He'll be hollering, man, you ain't got no blessing. You gave everything to him. He crying. You sold it. But all of this is history of our people and what's going on in the land and what's going over here. It's us and scattered all over the United States as Israelites, black Israelites. 2 brothers fighting for something. Go ahead. 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. Meaning that you're going to run this thing. Fatness of the earth. You're going to be the best, one of the best of the best to do what you do. Them are called the Jews. You can read about that in Obadiah. Of how he blessed them to be at the top of the food chain under a lot of these different type of companies. He running. You can't say too much about the Jews without getting canceled. That's Nick Cannon about it. Right. Go ahead. Verse 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Yes, so it came to pass. You read about that over there. When did it come to pass? 70 AD. Because Israel broke the law. Go ahead. 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. He was wanting to kill him for this. Sold it. But I just want to lay that foundation. I know it was a lot there. I want you read this because we got to read this stuff and understand our history. And he's talking about Esau, he was red. Jacob came out, they ain't say nothing about his color. Because he looked just like the regular, all the other Israelites, black. Now let's go see what happened to Jacob. Isaac. Genesis chapter 50. I want to show y'all the funeral of Isaac. Because this is the time when Israel, when Isaac died. Genesis 50 and verse 7. Now I want to look at this conversation, show you this conversation that they was having about Joseph's father, which is Jacob. I think it was Jacob at the time. Joseph.
Jacob.
Yeah. Verse 7. Let's look at this funeral right here. Go ahead.
And Joseph went up to bury his father, and with him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt.
So this is the death of Isaac. He went up to bury him. But listen to the conversation that the other people were having about the Israelites and the Africans or the Ethiopians. Go ahead.
Verse 8. And all the house of Joseph and his brethren and his father's house, only their little ones and their flocks and their herds they left in the land of Goshen.
So all the house of Joseph is what? All the Israelites. Go ahead.
And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a very great company. And they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond Jordan, and there they mourned with a great and very sore lamentation. And he made a mourning for his father 7 days.
So they mourned for 7 days for Isaac. And another people came up with him. Go ahead.
And when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning in the floor of Atad, they said, "This is a grievous mourning to the Egyptians." Wherefore the name of it was called Abel Mizraim.
He said, this is a grievous mourning to who?
The Egyptians.
I thought the Israelites were there too. They looked the same. All they saw was color. Black. He says a grievous time for the Egyptians, right?
Yep.
We know what color the Egyptian was. Go to King Tech.
Yep.
Read again.
Verse 11. And when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites.
Who are the Canaanites?
The
Africans, the Egyptians.
Yep.
Ethiopia, Cush. We're going to get into all that. Go ahead.
And when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning in the floor of Atad, they said, "This is a grievous mourning to the Egyptians." Wherefore the name of it was called Abel Mizraim, which is beyond Jordan.
I'm going to read a little history about the color. This is the last 2 million years. Page, what's this page? Let's see the page. What we read here. I want you to show you that the Egyptian or the Ethiopians are black skinned. We should already know this, but we got to document everything. They're all in Africa. Go ahead.
Golden cities on the Nile. The earliest of the major civilizations of tropical Africa arose about 1000 BC among the peoples of the Nile Valley in Nubia, part of southern Sudan.
So we know a location, we talk about location in Africa. Africa. So we dealing with how the Africans look. Go ahead.
And flourished for more than 1,000 years. The northern Nubians were dark-skinned people.
Wait a minute, the Northern Nubians were what?
Dark-skinned people.
So how Charlton Heston was, Charlton Heston and all them jokes on these movies turned to be white.
That's right.
They whitewash everything. That's why color is very important. This history, documented history, you go in all this, everybody know that the Egyptian was black, the Africans was black, dark skin, but they wasn't the Israelites. Go ahead.
Further south around modern Khartoum, there were Negroes.
There was who?
Negroes.
So we dealing with the Africans and the Negroes. This is what they were saying in Genesis chapter 50. They were looking at all black skin going up, and they were surrounding them Africans and Israelites. But they said it was a grievous time for who?
The Egyptians.
The Egyptians, which was dark-skinned people. They look exactly like us. Go ahead.
The Egyptians knew this whole area as the land of Cush. And it was the source of much of the gold of the ancient world.
That's what the land was. It was the land of Cush. This African name came from a man called Africanus, a white explorer who put his name on there. Which we know this is the land of Canaan anyway.
Yes, sir.
That was what they call Africa. Go ahead.
In the 8th century BC, the rulers of Cush were strong enough to conquer and rule Egypt. But between 676 and 666 BC, the mighty Assyrians swept into Egypt, driving the Cushite pharaohs back into Cush.
You know, they're going to take, they took Africa from the Cushites too. These Gentiles took it all the way over. and Esau. The Africans don't run nothing. Go ahead.
Ethiopia, the name comes from the Greek Ethiopus. Dark skin is thus one of the oldest Christian empires in the world.
This is what Ethiopia comes from, which is dark skin. The reason why I want to read that because we're going to read some in Genesis, in Jeremiah. Hold it, that's good. We'll get it. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 13. What did he say about Ethiopia?
Dark skin.
Dark skin. Very important color here now. So you'll know that the Africans and the Israelites look the same, but they're not the same people. Jeremiah chapter 13, verse 23. This is a history book right here. This is not no religious book. Jeremiah 13, verse 23. I want y'all to see this so you'll know. Stop calling yourself African Americans. How can you be two continents? Verse 23, go ahead.
Can the Ethiopian change his skin or the leopard his spots?
He said, he asked a question. Can a leopard change his spot? No. So therefore the Ethiopians can't change their skin. You can't whitewash. That's what they're doing. They're whitewashing history. If you don't know color, it's very important in the Bible, you don't know nothing. Because we've been robbed of our history. We got to go through and compare our nation to another black nation so you understand that the color of the Israelites are black. He said, can what? Go ahead.
Can the Ethiopian change his skin or the leopard his spots?
Go ahead.
Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil.
Yes, sir. Because the Ethiopians, they are accustomed to do evil. They will hurt you. They will hurt us more than the white man. Better go back and do some history on that. My African brother. I don't want to say that right now. No, sir. Because I know how they look at us. They know who we are. They say, brother, you're not African. You don't know your history. He's exactly right. I had to get a brother who I knew, not a brother, but an African, to come over and tell some people in the shop that, hey, am I African? He said, no, brother, you don't know your history. If you're African, you know your history. It was taught to you as a child. Just like us, we should know our history. Our fathers and mothers should teach us as a child what they're doing. Teaching us about music videos, teaching us about all this type of fun stuff happening in the world, teaching us all this stuff. But when it comes to the book, don't nobody know nothing. Keep reading.
Verse 24, therefore will I scatter them as the stubble that passeth away by the wind of the wilderness.
That's what he did to us. He scattered us. And also the African history is similar to the Israelite history. Very similar. But they're not us. You finished with that?
Yes, sir.
Let's go to Exodus chapter 1. Let's see more color. You get a hold to this stuff, man. I'm telling you. Stop disrespecting black Israelites. Because we're trying to hold this book and teach this book. Man, when Jesus turned that fire on you, he said, whoa. People trying to jump in. Whoever taught you, said, brother, sister, I'm so glad you taught me. Because Israel don't fear nothing until the fire is turned up. Exodus chapter 1 and verse 1. Let's see more color in our nation, which is Israel. Go ahead.
Now these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt. Every man in his household came with Jacob.
This is Jacob. These are the names of the Israelite tribe. 12, and we always say 12 tribes. These are the names, all of them. Go ahead.
Verse 2, Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan and Naphtali, Gad and Asher. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls, for Joseph was in Egypt already.
Why how did Joseph get in Egypt?
Because they sold him.
They sold him to Egypt. But just because your situation is bad, that don't mean that it's going to be bad all the time.
Amen.
Joseph been what, 13 years in prison?
Yes, sir.
It's been a long time, but he came up to be second in control. Sometimes you gotta go through a little something to get what God wants for you. Sometimes God got to strip you of all that stuff you thought was good for you. And when he strips you, then you say, oh, I know what you're talking about now. I see why you did what you did. Israelites got to be very understanding of this book so we'll understand not to get out of order. Let's go to Exodus chapter 2. Let me look at somewhere here. Let's see. Let's see Moses here. Let's see what color he is. Because Charlton Heston was white last time I seen him. He one trick he couldn't perform in that movie. I'm going to show it to you too. Exodus chapter 2, we're going to start at verse 1. Go ahead.
And there went a man of the house of Levi and took to wife a daughter of Levi.
Yes, sir. So we talking about the tribe of what?
Levi.
That's the priestly tribe.
Yes, sir.
Those are the ones that handle the business of the Lord in the temple, the ministry. Levi. Go ahead.
Verse 2. And the woman conceived to bear a son. And when she saw him that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months.
Yes, sir. Because at that time, it was killing children under 2 years old. Go ahead.
And when she could not longer hide him, she took for him an ark of bulrushes, and daubed it with slime and with pitch, and she put the child therein, and she laid it in the flags by the river's brink.
So she just put him in a little boat, and hopefully he'll get into the Egyptian household, or somebody will take him, because she didn't want him to be killed. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And his sister stood afar off to wit what would be done to him.
So his sister standing there looking, trying to make sure he get where he's supposed to be. Go ahead.
And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river. And her maidens walked along by the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it.
Go ahead.
And when she had opened it, she saw the child. And behold, the babe wept. And she had compassion on him and said, this is one of the Hebrews' children.
Wait a minute. In the movie, they said they didn't know who Moses was. They knew who he was. Said, this is one of the Hebrews' children. This Hollywood will mess you up if you look at it without reading the book. And she knew who the mother was. Go ahead.
Verse 7. Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, shall I go and call to thee a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for thee?
Like that. Let's see what nurse she called. Go ahead.
And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, go. And the maid went and called the child's mother.
Who?
The child's mother.
So they knew who he was. Yes. Hebrew child and the mother. This movie, we see, y'all probably seen Ten Commandments. It's a good movie, but it's a lot of stuff that was whitewashed.
Yes,
a lot of the Egyptians were white. Israelites was white. And look at all this color in this Bible. And the one saying they're you, they ain't even black. They white skin or red. Go ahead.
Verse 9. And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, take this child away and nurse it for me, and I will give thee thy wages. And the woman took the child and nursed it.
So she got paid for nursing her own baby. See, a lot of times you think God ain't something bad for you. Sometimes he'll turn around. He turned around for Moses' mother. She got paid for nursing her own child. Got to have that opportunity with him. And around that time, they was killing kids, throwing them in the Nile River for alligators can eat them up. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she called his name Moses. And she said, because I drew him out of the water.
That's the name what Moses means. She drew him out of the Nile River, out of the water. That's what it means. And this is what we want to know. This man right here was black. Let me show you he was black. Let's go to Exodus chapter 4 and 1. We're 4 and 3. Exodus 3 and 1, excuse me. Yeah, I got to get that. Our God called Moses. God, he grew up. Let me show you something. Exodus 3 and 1, go ahead.
I'm sorry, brother, you didn't want 15 through 19 in Exodus 1. I didn't want that. In Exodus 2, I'm sorry.
Yeah. 15 to 19, go ahead and read that. Excuse me, go back to Exodus 2, we're going to read 15 through 19. Appreciate it. Yeah, we got to get that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
15. Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses. But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well.
Now this is the time when Moses grew up and he killed an Egyptian. And some of the Israelites, some of the people seeing him killing the Egyptian, they want to tell on Moses, but he fled away. Go ahead.
16. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled the troughs to water for their father's flock.
So this priest of Midian had 7 daughters. They had a water well filling water. Let's see what they call Moses. Go ahead.
And the shepherds came and drove them away. But Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock.
Yes, sir.
And when they came to Ruel, their father, he said, how is it that ye are come so soon today? And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds.
And what?
An Egyptian.
Moses is a Hebrew.
Right.
Egyptians and Hebrew look alike. They black skin. Look alike. Said an Egyptian. They didn't know Moses from an Aramean. They didn't know. Now they said, oh, he look like one of the Egyptians. Because they were black, the same color. Color all over here. You just got to get the man of God to show you something. And we know the Egyptians were black. Go ahead.
And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us and watered the flock.
Yes, sir. Let's go to Exodus chapter 3. Let's see how God dealt with Moses. Exodus chapter 3 and verse 1. An Egyptian helper. Go find an Egyptian in the hieroglyphics. Can find in the hieroglyphics, they show you pictures of what the Egyptians look like. They got pictures of King Tut. They got pictures of the Queen of Egypt. They got pictures of them. And some of them got mummies of them. They robbed them tombs. And these were black people. And Moses got confused with being what?
Black.
An Egyptian. Two nations. Know the players of the book now. Exodus chapter 3 and 1. Go ahead.
Now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian. And he led the flock to the backside of the desert and came to the mountain of God, even to Horeb.
Yes, sir.
And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in the flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed.
So this angel came to Moses in a burning bush. And people say, how can you die and just burn forever? God got a bush burning. It ain't consumed. You trying to argue with somebody who gonna create hell and look like the sun?
Come on, bro.
You gonna play with him?
Exactly.
No, don't play with it.
Come on.
He's showing us a lot of stuff. At least he's showing me. Go ahead.
Verse 3, and Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, while the bush is not burnt.
Jump down to verse 6. Let's see what happened. What he's talking to Moses about. Go ahead.
Moreover, he said, I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God.
Whee! A lot of people thought that angel was God. No, he's speaking in the first person. First person. The angels delivered the message in first person. Go ahead.
Skip down 10 and keep reading through. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, no.
6.
Yeah, 6. Go ahead.
Verse 7, and the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows.
You know their sorrows. Go ahead.
And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land into a good land, and a large, and unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites.
So we're in a land with black-skinned people. All of us together. But you got to know the difference. Know the difference of what it is. He sent Moses down there to free of black-skinned people, which are the Israelites. We was under captivity for 400 years. He want to get a savior. Moses is like a savior just like Jesus. Go ahead.
Verse 9, now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them.
Understand this, who oppressed them?
The Egyptians.
Go ahead.
Verse 10, come now therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt.
Now I want to read a little history of the Zondervan Dictionary about Ham. We talking about Egypt at the time, but Moses had to go down to free these people. Let's see if they're white. Go ahead.
Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark